Well, good morning everyone. Welcome to my channel. I am Brian and this is going to be my 2022 shop tour update. The last one I did of these was back in late 2020, I believe. So thought it'd be fun to kind of show you guys, if you've been following along, the few changes that I've made in here. And for anyone that's new, hopefully give you guys some ideas of how to construct and build and organize your very small shop. I kind of do this for two reasons. One, to help out new shoppers that want to figure out how to build their shop, or maybe give you guys some ideas, because I know that I did that when I started out this shop, is scour YouTube for ideas for myself. So if I can help you guys out in any way, I hope I can. Two, I like to be able to kind of have these videos on record so I can go back 10 years from now and say, hey, in 2022, here's what my shop looked like. So before I get started, let me just go ahead and say, because I had a lot of questions last video, this garage, it's a one-car garage. It's approximately 12 feet wide by 21 feet deep. So keep that in mind when I'm kind of showing you around the place. It is a smaller wood shop. It's not a two-car garage. It's literally a one-car detached garage. So again, 12 by 21 on average. So with that, I'm going to start from the front of the shop and work my way back and kind of go over in high level what I've done to this shop. So let's get going. Okay, so here we are at the front of the shop, and the star of the show is the SawStop table saw. It is the the professional cabinet saw. It is the 1.75 horsepower. I didn't have a dedicated 220 volt to get the stronger 3 horsepower, but I've never had this thing fail me no matter what I throw at it. I have added the Woodpecker's rip flip fence. This is coming real handy. If you guys don't know what that is, I have a video on this, but it's just a good gauge. If you know you're going to be doing lots of several rips of different lengths, you can set up stops you can come back and do the exact length, the exact width that you need. Really handy piece of tool. Underneath, I've got my CT Mini 1 that is going up this hose across this homemade hose holder, I guess you could say, and is connected to my blade guard for the table saw. So that is this portion of dust collection. I do have that big thing in the black down there. That is just a generator that I have stored underneath. So that's the table saw. Coming around, I built this very simple outfeed table, and yes, this is actual wallpaper that I adhered to the top just so I can take it off and remove it and place a new piece on, because I don't like a whole lot of gouges and paint and stain and drips all over my outfeed table. So this is just a protective layer really. But this is my outfeed table, nothing special. It does have adjustable feet on each corner, so that way I can level it with my table saw. Nothing crazy, nothing special about it. The dust collection that I use for the table saw starts out at this port right here. So this is my 4-inch dust collection hose. It goes in the back, out the back of the outfeed table, and I don't know if you guys will be able to tell, but it comes out the back up there and down and then into the back of my saw stop. So that's the two pieces of dust collection that I have for my saw stop, and then got a couple of jigs in here just stuffed in wherever I could find room for it. But nothing outlandish, nothing crazy, just your simple 2x4 construction outfeed table with 3/4 inch MDF top. Up here I've got, again, all of my my clamp storage, and I've got these little clamp racks from Rockler. These are for the F-style clamps, and they are absolutely perfect for holding your F-style clamps. And then I keep all my little spring clamps and some smaller 4-inch clamps and just some scrap piece of cabinet that I built out of scraps. But and then that's where I keep all my wood storage still. Got some ash up there from my dining room table that I built, so don't know what I'm going to do with that yet, but that's where I keep all of my hardwood storage. Now, I don't have any storage for sheet goods. Shop's not big enough. We park in our other garage, so I just have to buy what I'm going to use and figure out what I'm going to do with the scrap after that. Here's where I keep all of my Woodpecker's rules. You guys might notice a trend here coming up, but I love Woodpeckers and I like Festool. So in my opinion, those are two things you typically get what you pay for. So that's where I keep all of my rules. Up here are my Woodpecker's corner clamps with the woodpecker's clamp it racket. Just kind of keeps them up and out of the way. Down here, well, let's start over here. So I got 2 MFT tables. I did not like the feet that comes with the MFT tables because it's really rickety. I don't think it's very sturdy. So I took those off and I built 2 base cabinets, same size, put them together, installed some Festool drawer slides down here where I keep a lot of my Festool sustainers. So that's perfect. So underneath here is where I keep my domino, my Rotex, my sanders, because this is where I do a lot of my work. And so that way when I'm working up here, I literally just go right down below, grab what I need, and I hook it up to my CT26, which I have over here hiding in the corner. So that guy is basically used for all of my Festool hand tools and for my everyday cleanup, vacuuming up the shop floor or whatever. That's my main shop vacuum cleaner. Dust collector, I guess I should say. But on the front of my MFT, I've got my vacuum system, and this is another one of those tools where it took me a couple of years to actually decide to pull the trigger. But it's one of those things where once you have it, it's hard to imagine doing things without it. Doing some glue ups for some panels. This thing is so quick. You just put it on top of that VacSys, you put your dominoes in, you flip it around. This thing's amazing. It's not for everyone. It's a luxury tool. I know you don't have to have it, but if you do have one, you can agree that it's kind of hard to imagine not having one of these things. And this is, again, I have it connected to a little Bluetooth remote plugged in behind these cabinets, so I don't have to turn on the compressor at the compressor. I just use this, and it turns the compressor on. So that makes it easy. But so here's my 2 MFT tables where I get most of my work done. And up top, I went and bought 2 of these Sysport 3-drawer sustainers, which I absolutely love. So this is where I keep a lot of my drill bit storage, small clamps, and small pliers and wire cutters, and just everything real handy all in one spot that I use the most of. And this one's kind of more of my shop junk drawer. So I got a lot of, most people might call it junk, I don't, but it's what I find myself using the most of a lot, so I keep it all up here. Then I built a little shelf to go on top of it, and I've got a couple of screwdriver racks up here. And guys, believe it or not, most of this stuff came from my office. So once COVID hit, we got moved out of office and started working from home. So this is all stuff from my office that I didn't really have a home for, that I just kind of put up there. Moving up, I've got my very basic upper cabinets that I built out of the cheapest plywood that I could find at Lowe's and the cheapest 1/4-inch paneling for the front. So absolutely nothing special, not kitchen grade, but it stores all my shop goods, and that is on this wall. And then moving down over here, I've got my jet dust collector, and this is what I use to hook up. I pull this hose out that I have stored connected to the wall up here, so I just yank that down and I drag it down the bottom of the floor here, and I hook it in right here to my table saw when I'm gonna run that. So I don't have a dedicated 4-inch hose to my table saw. I do have to string this down the floor, but that's what I got to do. And that works out okay because I also have my DeWalt planer that is down here that I actually have to pull out and set on top of my table saw outfeed table. So I use that 4-inch hose to connect to the back of the planer also. So it's dual purpose, but that's my dust collection for that corner. Then up here, I've got more sustainer cabinets that I built. And these are great because they're all adjustable shelves. And if I have different size sustainers, if I want to move them out, swap them around, I just have to move the shelf to fit the size of the sustainer that I want. So that worked out really well for me. And then here I've got my Husky tool storage chest. Now, some of you guys that might have followed me around for a little bit know that I built a sustainer Sysport to go here, and I got a couple of videos out on that. Well, I had to swap it out because my camper has to go into the big garage, and this was taking up too much space in the big garage. so I had to swap those guys out. So now I'm back to the Husky tool chest, which, in all honesty, I've got to say I think I kind of like more. To be totally blunt with you guys, it is easier to get in and out of the drawers, to get tools faster. I think I do like this more in here. And then up top I just have all of my overabundance of drills and impacts. Yeah, I might have a problem, but I don't think you can have too many of this stuff, to be honest with you. So that is my Husky tool cabinet. And then moving over here, I've got my mini sustainer storage built in, just a simple grid type open cabinet where I've got a bunch of small things that I keep stored. So in here, just for example, pencils, whatever. So I keep all of my pencils and lead and erasers, and typically what I keep up here is all the things that would end up in a drawer that would be hard to find. I think for me it's better to have them in these small sustainers, label them, that way I know exactly what everything is and how to get to it and where they're at. So that's that. And then down here is again some more sustainer storage built into the desk. So, and I did acquire a few more sustainers, and I've got to find a place to put those. So I have them stored underneath where I typically keep my stool. But yeah, I like sustainers too. And I know I'm going to get comments about how horrible sustainers are, but to each his own, guys, and that's how I choose to store most of my stuff. Then I found a few square inches of wall space next to my door is where I've decided to hang up my Festool tracks for the track saw, and a couple of long levels. And then up here, very simple storage for some stains and some poly varnish and whatnot. And then moving over here, you guys will kind of see my version of my miter saw station. It's not a J Bates station by any means, but it works well for me. I didn't want to go over the top with the miter saw station. I wanted to try to save as much floor space as I could, so again I just built some upper cabinets for storage, got the miter saw leveled with both sides of the cabinets, and then I built these weren't on the last update, on the last shop tour, but I just built these very simple sustainer cabinets, built some drawers, and put in these sustainers that have all of my screws. And I think these are some of the best sustainers. So I got medium screws here, got some large screws, and then so on. Down here I've got my Festool sandpaper, got some more drill bits and some miscellaneous hardware that I just simply built some really simple drawer bases that would fit the sustainer, put them on some slides and keep those out of the way. And same thing for this little guy. This is just a micro version of this for these mini sustainers. Miscellaneous items. There's no telling what's in there. But I don't use this spot, so anything behind the cut line I don't really use because it just gets in the way. So with these cabinets are all behind the cut line, so it doesn't get in the way of me cutting anything at the miter saw station. So it's a good place for me to store some items out of the way. And then same thing moving down here. I did have this open as just shelving last video, and I converted that again to more sustainer storage with some sustainer rails. And these are the new generation sustainers. So those are the new rails that they come with, and these actually come out. Now the only thing I don't like about these is that you cannot open it all the way. You have to actually remove the sustainer, which I use this for items that I don't use a whole lot. I keep a lot of my saw stop accessories in here, some dust collection fittings down here, my DeWalt circular saw that I don't use as much now that I've got the TS55 Festool track saw, and a belt sander. So things that I don't use a lot of get stored in there. And then moving on, a couple more of these little cabinets that I built with, again, just simple drawers. And these are the new Festool storage containers that I really like. They keep all your small miscellaneous screws and just things very well organized. So that's for this side of the miter saw. And then over here I've got my Delta dust collector, and this is actually hard lined into the back of my miter saw. So there is a 4-inch line. Kind of hard to see, but it goes down and it goes underneath this cabinet, and then it comes up here and then into a, I believe they call that a big gulp, and that is on the back. And I just cut a hole, put some wire, chicken wire in there so it doesn't suck up any big chips, just mainly dust. And then I've got the dust collector connected to a wireless remote, so anytime I'm ready to use this thing, I just come up here, turn it on, and we're good to go. Now, I also have connected to this miter saw the original CT MIDI, which is just fine for this saw. It does fine. I have to change the bag pretty often on this because it is a smaller unit, but it works well. I probably need to cut the hose on this. This is the standard length hose, and I know if I cut it, the suction would be even better in that saw, but I'm still a little gun shy to cut a $100 hose. So then over here I got my little oscillating sander, and then moving down, I do have a little tiny bench drill press. I try not to use it a whole lot, but that's where I keep it stored, right there. And then just a final tour of this place. If I stand at the front of it, there we go. And for the ceiling, I do have a new General Tools air filtration unit. It works well. It works. I'm pretty happy with it. It's supposed to have a automatic sensor in it that detects dust in the air and it kicks on automatically. I have not seen that happen yet. So anytime I'm going to come in here and work, I actually just manually turn it on. Whatever, no big deal. I've got a retractable extension cord up there. Simple, nothing too crazy. And then way up here up top is where I keep all of my stuff that I don't know what to do with. It's a bunch of weird stuff that I can't find a proper home for, like a scroll saw. I hardly ever use a scroll saw, but that's where it lives, is right up there. Other questions, I'm trying to think of what I got. So the flooring, this is Race Deck flooring. I ordered it directly from racedeck.com, and it's a pretty cool little website. You input your dimensions, and then you can create your own pattern, your own colors, whatever you want. It'll tell you exactly how many of each color you need, how many tiles you need. It pretty much does it for you. And I would wait until they have a sale, because they typically have sales every other couple of months. And I got mine on sale for about $200 cheaper than if I just bought it without the sale. So, but again, I just went to the website, typed in my dimensions of the garage, and this is what it spit out. So it's nice. It's not soft, so it's just the same as walking on your concrete floor. So I would like to eventually put some horse mats here in the center where I do most of my walking for more cushion, but this is good for spills. And you know, when you're doing glue ups, you spill your glue, it just dries and you just flick it off. So it cleans up real easy. So that's just a quick 2022 update of this shop. So if you guys have any questions about anything that I've done in the shop, or have any advice, or want to know exactly how I did something that I didn't go over, you know, in depth on this tour, just let me know. I'm here to help. I use YouTube as my method of kind of finding out ideas and things that I think I should do in my shop. So I'm here to help you guys. So I'm just really here to help if I can. I'm sure there's a lot more better ideas out there. I know there are. But this is how I've decided to do my shop, and so far it's worked out really well for me. No complaints, other than I wish it was bigger. But you can't always have a huge giant shop. So this is how I've managed to, I think, utilize the smallest space as well as I can. So again, it's like 12 by 21. The ceilings are 9-foot ceilings also. I didn't say that in the beginning. They're 9 feet tall ceilings. So with that, guys, that's kind of my shop tour of 2022. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe I gave you a few ideas. I don't know. But we'll do this again in 2023 and see how much change has happened over the last 12 months. So until then, we will talk soon and see you later. Take care, guys.